The administration of US President Donald Trump is believed to be preparing to unveil what the White House has called the deal of the century. It's Trump's controversial plan for the Israelis and the Palestinians. Given America's recent pro-Israel measures and decisions, such as its recognition of Jerusalem al-Quds as Israel's capital, many expect the emerging plan to contain conditions and clauses that will favor the Israelis and anger the Palestinians.
While pretending to mediate, they have been working with Israel as an extension of American power into the Middle East. So that, for example, when they moved the embassy to Jerusalem, 62 Palestinians were killed on the same day while they had a celebration and a party in occupied Palestine. So you can see the attitude of the Americans under Trump.
The right of return for millions of Palestinian refugees is apparently one of the demands that the emerging initiative will ignore. US Ambassador to the United Nations Nikki Haley has suggested that America would not recognize the right of return for millions of Palestinian refugees in any forthcoming initiative. Speaking at a Washington, D.C.-based think tank, Haley said the Trump administration wants the right of return to be taken off the table. Haley also questioned Palestinian refugee numbers provided by the UN Relief and Works Agency. Haley's remarks are seen by many as further proof of America's favoritism towards Israel as it puts the finishing touches to its high-profile Middle East plan. Today, Palestinian refugees are scattered inside Palestinian territories and in many other countries. This map shows where the refugees registered by the United Nations Relief and Works Agency are located. The number of registered refugees and their descendants is at around 6 million. The mass displacement of Palestinians from their ancestral lands mainly dates back to May 14, 1948, when Israel was created in Palestine and immediately recognized by the United States. Following the creation of Israel, the forced displacement of Palestinians known as the Nakba, or catastrophe, began. Hundreds of Palestinian villages were destroyed and their residents were forced to flee and were never allowed to return. Palestinians insist the right of return and an end to Israeli occupation are binding under international law and must form the foundation of any deal with Israel. Over the past months, people in the Gaza Strip have been holding weekly protests demanding an end to the Israeli occupation and the right of return for Palestinian refugees. Israel's brutal response to those protests has left scores of Palestinians dead and thousands injured. The Palestinians seem to have realized that any initiative devised by Washington is highly unlikely to recognize their rights. They say the latest measures and stances adopted by America leave no room for any US mediation in the Israeli-Palestinian issue.